Our girl, Chrissy Teigen, who has 2 adorable kids with her husband, John Legend, has never been afraid to speak her mind. And while she likes to joke around on Twitter, she recently took on a more serious topic on a recent episode of the Today Show. On the show, Chrissy spoke very candidly about her experience dealing with postpartum depression and the moment she realized she was experiencing more than just the baby blues. Chrissy said, quote, "I thought it was the baby blues until people around me started telling me they saw distinct changes in my personality. That was really helpful to me. I had really changed." Chrissy is also using her Instagram to encourage other moms to bring awareness to postpartum depression by posting a picture that captures what it felt like having their new baby and describing what they wish they knew when they were going through it. Wow, I think this is so great that she's using her platform for this. So, Tam, I know this is an issue that we've touched on before and that you've touched on. Can you relate to what Chrissy is saying here?
I can relate to Chrissy on all levels. I think one of the things that I haven't really talked about during my time with postpartum depression is when I was doing this show, you know, it's called The Real. And when I was experiencing postpartum depression, I wasn't ready to accept it just yet. So I felt like I was here, but I didn't feel like I was being my authentic self because 1, I was afraid. 2, you guys know me to be a very, type A person. I always like to be in control of my emotions and my feelings, and I like to be described as a strong person. And in that moment, I didn't feel any of that. I felt weak, you know? And I think that's one of the hardest things, is to accept that, wait a minute, okay, yes, I might be experiencing postpartum depression, but this does not define me.
Yes.
It's normal, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fine, and it does not mean you are weak at all. But in that moment,
it's hard to remind yourself that.
Well, yeah, because postpartum depression there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what the hell was going on. I just knew that I wasn't fully 100% myself. Because usually they say you want to, kill yourself or kill your baby sometimes. That's on the deeper, extreme side of postpartum. But I wasn't having those feelings. But I also wasn't just having baby blues. I would find myself literally in a ball sometimes, just crying. And then my husband, it was his face. He looked up at me and he just felt helpless. And then I think it was you, because I would come to work and she would ask me, "How are you doing?" And literally I would just start crying. And she's like, "Tamara, can I be honest with you? Do you remember having this conversation?"
Yeah, I do.
And you
in
were
my
like,
old room.
Yep, in your own room. And you're like, "Tamara, I think maybe you should possibly, look into postpartum depression. I think, girl, I think you might have it."
And that's okay. And I think even as a friend, if you come at someone with love, can you be honest with me? Did you feel offended in that moment?
Not at all. I felt loved, definitely, in that moment.
It depends.
I felt seen.
And if you say it in a way that's genuinely like, I don't want you to feel, I actually felt like you thought you were crazy.
I did.
And to be able to tell you, I don't think what you're experiencing is crazy. I think this is real. The same way people tell you, go to the doctor if you have a throat infection, if you have bronchitis.
I don't know why
Our
I'm getting emotional.
minds are the same way. It's a part of our body. If the chemical isn't functioning correctly, and that's real. Hormones are real. If we feel them during PMS, why wouldn't you feel it after giving birth to a whole other person?
Yeah, but I think...
No, I love
but
you.
I think
I love
what
you so.
happened...
You remember being there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it too. We come together, people don't get how tight-knit we are. When you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning,
You have to be
you
together.
gotta, you create a bond.
Yeah.
And I think the bond that we've experienced through childbirth, through divorce, through different things that we've gone through, it's made us so tight.
Closer.
And I think I did see you. We saw you in that moment, and I still say to this day, I don't know how you did it, but man, you should be so proud of yourself on so many levels. As an incredible mom, which you see her be every day, because you're there with her all the time. And just being a badass woman.
Thank you.